It is 11:45. We are going to go ahead and get started. We have an amazing presentation today. I heard the first one this morning with Mr. Cochran. He's had a chance to drink a few more cups of coffee before this afternoon and kind of polish up his presentation for this afternoon. Not that it needed polish, but he is ready to just deliver an amazing presentation this afternoon. Make sure that you guys, a couple things. One, make sure that you do your choice board assignment at the end of your sessions today, and put that in your whatever your instructor has you putting that in for a Dropbox. So that would be outstanding. Also, during the presentation today, if you want to put any questions you might have in the chat, that would be outstanding. I'm going to ask that the chat remain. We keep that just for things relating to the presentation today, and not to goof around and that kind of thing in the presentation. So without further ado, I am going to be quiet and let our presenter take over for today. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is Mr. Eli Cochran.
What's up, everybody? Hopefully everybody's having a good day today. So hopefully you're all able to see my slideshow. So we got this up here. So yeah, we're getting into it, right? My password is password. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So before we get started, though, while I get my intro going, while we have some stragglers maybe joining in, what I'd love for you all to do is go ahead and grab a pen or pencil, grab just some scrap paper or piece of paper, and then I also want you to grab your cell phone for me. I know, right? A presenter telling you grab your cell phone, but yeah, trust me, get your cell phone. You'll see what it's used for here in a minute. So while I get started, while you guys getting that, I'm going to get started. So who am I? I'm Mr. Cochran. I teach cybersecurity here at DACC. And a little bit about myself, born and raised Delaware County. I actually graduated from Buckeye Valley. So I know we got some Buckeye Valley students out there. So hey. So always been into electronics, robotics, computers, that kind of stuff. Total geek, super geek. That's me to a core. I live in Delaware with my wife, my son, and our dog. So before teaching, I was in the IT department. And then prior to that, I worked in AV and then the financial industry working on ATMs, but been in IT forever, it just seems like. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I'm also a ham radio operator, so KD8RBH. Again, that just ticks up my geek cred. So, man, my slideshow.
What's that call sign again?
KD8RBH.
KD88 as in number 8.
Yep.
RBH.
Kilo
Okay.
Delta 8 Bravo Hotel, or KD8RBH. Romeo Bravo Hotel. There we go.
Okay.
I see you got me on that one. So a little bit about myself. You can find me online if you go to elicochran.me. That's like my portfolio page. You can find me on there. It's got links to my LinkedIn, just my personal brand, right? You can find me in other stuff. Oh, sweet. I got another ham radio operator. Yes, I love it. So here's what we got. Here's what we got going on today. We're going to do a little meet and greet. We're going to talk about the 90s guide to the internet. I promise you'll understand here in a bit. And then we're going to get into some social engineering. And then, of course, while you guys are here, live attacks and passwords, that kind of stuff. So real quick, what I want you to do is pull out those cell phones. You scan this barcode here. So go ahead and get that barcode scanned with your phone. Or you can use that URL up at the top if you're on a computer. So you can type that out. It's slides.app. And then basically Google, yeah, that kind of thing. So follow that. That'll be popping up periodically from here time and time again. When I want questions, actually, I would love for you to post the questions there. I won't be really monitoring the Teams call. So if you want a question answered, this is the place to answer it. And then also your other classmates that are joined into this session can go onto there and can upvote different questions if they have them. So, okay, so let's get started. So with the little meet and greet, what I'd love for you to do is use your phone, take a picture of this, or write down real quick what's in here. I want you to kind of fill this out for me. If we were actually in person, right, I'd give you guys a piece of paper, have you fill this out, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. So grab that picture. I'm going to move on to the next slide just because we got to keep up with some time here. So with that, this web, oh man. Okay, so I got to share. One of my biggest pet peeves about Teams calls and stuff is people trying to share a video on Teams. I'm sorry, but that just does not work. So I promise I won't be playing the videos for you, but definitely check out the link for these, the the URLs and stuff in the PowerPoint. So definitely check them out. This one is amazing. It's super cringeworthy. This was actually a 30-minute VHS tape that people bought, and it was how to get yourself online. The whole family gets together and has jobs to do, but definitely go check it out. It's super cringeworthy, but I promise this won't be anything like that. So let's talk about it. Social engineering. This is a big one in cybersecurity. So a couple things. There's 3 big facets of social engineering. Those are phishing, right? We get an email. Somebody sends us a scam email, that kind of thing. I got to move my Facebook viewers so they can see me better. So, yeah. So what is a scam, right? Like it's a spam that we're getting in our emails. It's junk. But here's some things that you can look for and try to protect yourself when you get that spam. So up in the top left, if you kind of look, it's who it's from, right? It could be from your boss, your CEO, just somebody randomly, who knows who. But kind of look at that. Make sure it's actually somebody that should be emailing you, or, you know, might have a lot of misspellings. Keep an eye out for that. The to line, you know, see if you are actually sent to you. Sometimes what they'll do is the scammers will send it to themselves, and then they'll blind carbon copy a whole bunch of people. So just make sure that it's actually addressed to you. Hyperlinks. Oh my gosh. Never, ever, ever click on a hyperlink in an email. That is the worst thing you can do. So again, never click on it. If it's actually like this email, if it's from your bank, like, okay, maybe they are trying to get a hold of you, but like go open the website for your actual bank and look at their message there. Okay. Don't just like click the link. That's the really bad idea. Make sure the dates are right. You know, check the time. Make sure it's not sent at like some weird like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. kind of thing. The subject line, a big one that I've noticed here lately is people, they'll start to put the RE in the subject line, like to make it look like you've been having a conversation with them. It also helps get around some of the spam filters because it thinks like you're having this conversation already and there's been previous emails, even though this is the first one. So just be mindful of that. Check the subject line. And then attachments, you know, again, kind of same thing with the links. Don't click on attachments. That's another worst thing you could do. That's really bad. You can get malicious software that way. And then look at the content, right? See if it's got some misspellings. They're always really badly. I don't understand in this day and age how they can have emails that are so horribly misspelled if they're wanting you to actually like click on it and be nefarious about it. So phishing, that's the next one in social engineering. So phishing is a spinoff of phishing with a PH, but phishing with a V is voice solicitation. So this video is amazing. Go watch her. She is an awesome cybersecurity professional. She's actually one of the good guys. She is a penetration tester. And what she does is in this video, it's like a probably 3-4 minute video. She actually goes through this guy with his permission, calls his cell phone provider. Let's just say it's Verizon. She calls his cell phone provider, acts like spoofs his number so it looks like he's calling, acts like his wife, and then has a YouTube video of a crying baby playing in the background. And she's talking to the support person and like, oh, I'm sorry, I got my baby. I have to get this done. She ultimately ends up getting into his phone account, gets his email, changes his password, and like adds herself to his account where then she could like add a phone to it. It is amazing, all from over the phone. So definitely go check that video out. It's well worth your time. But that's phishing, it's voice solicitation. And then the last one in social engineering is impersonation. So somebody trying to give you some pretext of being somebody else. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you this scenario. And in this scenario, I want you to act like Amy in this scenario, okay? So I want you to just kind of put on your hat, play along with me, and I want you to pretend to be Amy in this. And I'm going to run through, this is actually a true scenario that's happened. And I'm going to run through it with you. And I want you to think about like, okay, if I would have gotten this phone call, what would I have done? So it's, hey, Amy, this is Joe from the IT department. Hey, I'm working from home today. I'm sorry. That's why I'm calling you from an outside line. Hence why I'm telling her I'm calling her from a random number. But anyways, I wanted to get with you. It's like super urgent. I'm actually working on migrating your Outlook email today. And I really didn't want you to lose Outlook access. But I got to send you a PIN number. But hey, keep in mind, don't give me your password. I'm never, you know, even your IT guy, right? Like, don't give me your password. I never want your password. See what I just did there? I built trust with her. I'm trying to build that trust. So, but yeah, don't give me that password. But I am going to send you a 6-digit code really quick, and I'll let me know once you get. I'll read it off what it should be, and we wait a little bit. She gets that text message. Okay, it's 8675309. Okay, maybe I might not use those actual numbers, but I'll give her like some bogus numbers, right? I know that's going to be wrong. Well, what's most people's reaction if you do that to them? They're going to be like, "No, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6." They're going to tell you that information. Perfect. Now I just got your 2-factor authentication numbers. So if in this scenario, I already got Amy's username and password for her email from doing a credential stuffing. So basically, I hacked another website that was insecure, and I got her account, her login, her username, her password from there. But she's smart, right? She has 2-factor authentication. She gets those extra text messages. Well, here I just was able to social engineer her and to get her those 6-digit codes. That's only good for 30 seconds. I was able to get those out from her. So curiosity, if I'd have run that through you without knowing about this, by a raise of hands in Microsoft Teams, how many of you, and let's be honest, how many of you would have fallen for that? Give me a raise of hands. I'm really curious to see. Awesome. Got a couple of you. See, right? Like, that's the thing to be thinking about. This is why cybersecurity needs to be in the front of your mind, is that avoiding that scenario. So awesome. Super cool. So I'm going to open it up for questions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in here, but we're going to get back to this meet and greet here. So with this meet and greet, what I'd love for you to do is fill it out, think about it. So surprise. I don't know if any of you caught it, but this actually wasn't an icebreaker. So if you look here, if you look down at the bottom, a lot of those questions are password reset questions. So up at the top, I would have gotten your first and last name. I'd have gotten your email address. I would have gotten what homeschool you were at, like your associate school. So if you know anything about how like school districts work, I kind of have a rough idea of where you live. And then your graduating year. Now I know your approximate age within a few years, I can guess. So again, by a raise of hands in Microsoft Teams, how many of you would have filled this out if we would have been in person? I'd have handed it to you and told you to fill it out. There they go. Yep, right? Like, and so I do this with sophomore visit days. I'll actually give these to the sophomores and I'll have them fill them out. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to give like a free $5 Amazon gift card to the winner, right? The winner that I'm going to get their accounts. So just be mindful of that. That's social engineering. So again, if you have questions up at the top, go ahead and fill out that link and I'll see them come in. But we got a quick time. I got to keep moving. So this is Robert Mueller. He was the FBI director back in 2012. So he's famously quoted for this is there's 2 types of companies in the world. There's those that have been hacked and those that will be. I personally, Mr. Cochran, I like to kind of spin this a little bit. And I like to say there's 2 types of companies, those that have been hacked and those that don't know they've been hacked. It's so prevalent anymore nowadays. It's just insane how many cyber attacks we see on a daily. And this is why like people need to be in the front of their mind thinking about cyber hygiene, thinking about cybersecurity, and then also why we need cybersecurity professionals. So this is some really cool, again, grab the links out of this slideshow. You can check out these threat maps. So these are live threat maps. So if you actually look, I'm going to stop displaying really quick so you all can see. So hopefully you're seeing my ugly mug nice and full screen. If not, G, could you spotlight me? But hopefully you are. If you look back here, I've got this live threat maps happening back here. So if you see, there's 18 million attacks today alone, and it's just now noon. And we have 18 million attacks. It's just mind-blowing. So, okay, let me get back to my slideshow here. So again, if you guys have questions, feel free to post them. I love trying to answer your all's questions. So again, we've got those live threats, so many of them out there, but this is the reason you guys are here. This is the main reason why you're here. Well, I hate to ruin it for you, but no, password is not my password. Sorry. I know you guys were thinking you were going to be able to get into all my social medias, take over my Twitch streaming account, right, that I'm starting. So sorry, but that's not actually my password. But if you look here on this, look up at the top, up on the top right, the top 10 passwords, the worst passwords that people use. And these are real. These were from like LinkedIn data breaches and other data breaches. They were able to extrapolate these out. The number 1 password that people use is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? No. Number 2 was actually passwords. Like, come on. Do not use any of those, but don't use like a basic password. That's horrible. So talking about the 5 tips you can do to protect yourself, okay? With passwords. Update your passwords regularly, right? Or if you get notified of a breach, update it right away. Like get that updated as soon as you can. With that updating regularly, so here at the school, they actually make our passwords expire every 90 days. And I know a bunch of people hate that, but actually they're doing you a favor. Like that's really good practice to get into. And you would actually be surprised in industry, some places make employees change it every 30 days. So we're actually lucky if you think of it glass half full is you're only having to change it every 90. So just be mindful of that, change it regularly. Never, ever, ever use the same password on multiple websites. Worst thing you can do. Remember, if you guys have questions, fill out that link up top. You can fill them out there and I can see them better. Yeah, never reuse passwords, never distribute them across multiple accounts. Use a unique one because again, going back to that credential stuffing, somebody might hack an insecure website. Then they can take that username and password, log into, I know you guys don't use Facebook anymore, but could use your Facebook, get into your Facebook account, get into your emails, that kind of stuff using those old usernames and passwords. Think of passphrases. Passphrases are king. So if you got to come up with a really long password, if you're a big like Guardians of the Galaxy fan or Star Wars fan like me, I'm a geek, remember? So if you like that kind of stuff, think about like a passphrase. Like you could do like Obi-Wan, R2-D2, 3CPO, Qui-Gon Jinn, right? That could be like a password. And I just have to remember that and I just have to type it all out. But that's something you could do as a passphrase. Definitely set up multi-factor. I'm gonna grab my YubiKey. I got it really quick. It's here in my pocket. So this is my YubiKey. This is a 2-factor authentication device. I'm gonna show the Facebook Live people, but I'm also gonna grab some more stuff over here. So 2-factor authentication, right? Super important. How many of you, by raise of hands, have set up 2-factor where maybe you get like a text message? Going back to our analogy there, it's like a 6-digit code when you log into an account or something. By a raise of hands in Microsoft Teams. Awesome. Hey, that's better than nothing. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That's at least you've done that. I appreciate that. That's awesome. But actually, there's known vulnerabilities with like the Google Authenticator app, with the SMS text messaging ones. So it's always best to have a hardware token, and that's like this YubiKey. It's a USB thumb drive that you stick in. It's not a thumb drive. It's a YubiKey token. But yeah, this is a lot more secure. So I use this. And then the last thing is never store your passwords in plain text. So do not store. I've seen it so many times when I've worked on people's computers. They store a file on their desktop like called passwords, and it's a Word document, and they just fill out their passwords. Or it's like an Excel spreadsheet, and it's not encrypted. Like, just don't do that. I mean, I guess if that's the only way you're going to use different but use a proper password manager, please. I use LastPass. That's what I like. But there's a ton out there that you can use. The cool thing about LastPass is I have my YubiKey tied into it. So then that makes sure that you can't get into that. You've got to have that 2-factor authentication with that. So again, if you guys have questions about passwords, definitely fill out that link up top. You can pull that up, or you could have scanned that barcode earlier and ask your questions. I love trying to answer them for you all. So this is a really cool website you can actually get on, and you can test your password. So you can actually type in I personally on this website, I don't know if I'd actually punch in my real password, but maybe like an old one that you don't use anymore. You could punch it in there and see how vulnerable it was. This example here is actually typing out password as the password. And as you can see, it's like literally captured instantly. I've got another website that gives you like a time frame on it. And it's like less than a second that it can breach, like less than 0.2 seconds or something that it can breach password. So yeah, definitely think about having a strong password. Now, this website, I love this website. It is haveibeenpwned.com. Okay, so this haveibeenpwned.com, you can go there. This is a legit site. This is a good one. I put in my own email address in this site. So you can put in your real email. They don't spam you. And what they do is they have a database of a whole bunch of data breaches. And they'll actually look through those data breaches and they see if your email pops up in any of those data breaches. So definitely check out haveibeenpwned.com. Look through there, see if your accounts have been compromised. If they have, get them closed, change the passwords at least. Yeah, definitely get in there. And if you have any vulnerabilities, definitely get those taken care of. Backing up your data. Super important. The worst thing you can do is lose your data. I can't tell you how many times I've had to help people recover their files. But the best way to prevent even having to pay for that, and it can get expensive, is just backing up, having a simple backup plan. So a good backup rule is the 3-2-1 rule. You have 3 different copies, 2 different types of media, and one of those being off-site. So, and this is always interesting when I talk to somebody and they're having me recover the data on their external hard drive. They're like, yeah, I need you to recover this because I lost all my backup files. And I'm like, oh, great, it's your backup. So you can just get your originals off your computer. And they're like, well, see, when I moved them over, I deleted them. That's not a backup. You just moved your copy to your external hard drive and you're calling it a backup, but you only have 1 copy. That's your 1 file. So you should have like 3 files. You should have the working one, the backup one, and then ideally an air-gapped one. So one that's not like connected to the computer so you don't get hit with ransomware. So definitely come up with a good backup plan. There's also like online ones. You can look at like Carbonite, Backblaze is a really good one. Or you can just as simply have as like Google Drive, put your important ones in there, or a little thumb drive. The dangers of public Wi-Fi. So how many of you, again, by raise of hands, I love interacting with you all, and I'd love to see your questions because I see some popping in, but please put them in this Google thing so I can really get to answer them for you. But I'm really curious, by a raise of hands, how many of you go to like Starbucks and connect, or like a McDonald's or something, or Panera, and connect to their Wi-Fi there? How many of you do that? Quite a few of you. So you want to be super careful when you do that. You want to try to avoid a man-in-the-middle attack. So I could run something like this little guy. If I look at my camera, I'll show Facebook Live, show you guys. This is a Wi-Fi pineapple. Yep. And what that can do is that can act like a man-in-the-middle attack for Wi-Fi. And it can connect you, could, grab your stuff. But how do you protect yourself? Use a VPN. Hey, yeah, like, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Anonymous. Whoever you are, thank you. Somebody said, I don't connect without Wi-Fi, without a VPN. You are great. You are already on it. That is so smart. So a VPN is a virtual private network. So what that does is that encrypts your traffic through that public hotspot. So then it's safe. So personally, Mr. Cochran, I use a VPN that I've set up at my house. So if ideally I don't connect to like Starbucks Wi-Fi, but if I have to, what I'll do is I'll VPN home. And then from there, I'll use my internet from home, and I'm VPN'd home. So I don't actually pay for a VPN. I've set up my own because I trust myself more than anything. And some days I even kind of question if I trust myself. But that's for another topic. But with that, so I asked my students, I was like, what VPN do you guys use? So these are just some that they put down there. But I do want to let you all know in full disclosure, but NordVPN has decided to sponsor me in this talk here today. And I got a really nice lump of money. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Just kidding. But hopefully you all enjoyed that a little bit. But yeah, so VPN's definitely worthwhile. Definitely have one of those set up. So man, you guys are a quiet group. I see a bunch of stuff happening in that chat, but let's get some over in the other chat. Okay, what do we got here? I typically use, thank you, Ryan, for doing this. I typically use my LTE, but sometimes I do, although the beginning part will Yeah, no, that's great. Definitely use your cellular connection, right? Like if you can use your cellular, that's awesome. Cool, Anonymous, they use this one. I'm not familiar with it. So I do have to say about the VPNs, let me actually go back to this. I know I hate it, but the school, you cannot run a VPN here at school. I get it. It sucks from a privacy standpoint, but it actually, they have a reason for it. And the reason is the school, we have to have content filters here at the school. And those, yes, there was a way that you could run it through like a DNS ports, but we'll see that you're passing a whole bunch of traffic over DNS, and then we know you're running a VPN. And don't do that because you can get in a lot of trouble for it, and it's just not worth it. I know from a privacy standpoint it is, but don't run a VPN at school. You're not allowed to do that. And again, I understand, but now when you're out, definitely please run a VPN, or like the other student did is they used their LTE. So yeah, for sure. I use one here. Yeah, you shouldn't. Anonymous, I see that. Thankfully, you kept it anonymous there. But yeah, don't do that. That is against the terms of service here at the school. And I don't want anybody to get in trouble. You will get, IT will be knocking on your door. So, okay, real quick. I want to ask everybody, what is this device? So put it in the chat. Put it in the, actually in the questions up there. What is this device? Somebody tell me. I love it. Okay, I got to show this about the VPN. Thank you, Anonymous, for sharing this one. I turned mine on and tech came with me in less than a minute. Yes, they will come to you really quick if that is the case. Okay, awesome. USB drive, flash drive. Well, I'm sorry. I lied. It is not a USB flash drive. This is, I'm going to kill the screen share. So this is a USB Rubber Ducky. Facebook, you guys see that? This is a USB Rubber Ducky. So what is a USB Rubber Ducky? Well, we'll get that here in a second. I'm going to take off my headphones. I want you to watch. I got a little demo for you all. So I'm going to come back here. I got two computers running back here. So I'm going to quickly get logged in on this computer. Okay, so I got no funny business. So hopefully you guys can see this computer. I'm logged in on this one over here. That might be hard for you all to see, but I'm going to take this thumb drive or flash drive and I'm going to plug it into my computer. Now it's going to run some code really quick and then watch the computer on the left. Hopefully you all can see this okay. Watch it. Do you see what it's doing there? It just rebooted. So I just rebooted that computer by plugging in that flash drive that I found in the parking lot over the network without even touching it. This is why you never, ever, ever want to plug in a thumb drive. Please do not do that. So going back to here. So what is it? It's a USB Rubber Ducky. So what is a USB Rubber Ducky, you ask? Well, it is a keyboard injection tool. And what it does is it can quickly type. And if we think about a computer, right, a computer trusts a human, right? Okay, so humans use keyboards. So inherently the computer ends up trusting the keyboard. So what this little device is it is just a keyboard that can type super, super fast. I can run malicious code on it. Here my students actually learn on these. One of my students actually wrote a script that makes the computer go to an infinite boot loop. So every time you log in, it just keeps rebooting the computer. So yeah, you definitely want to be careful with that. Never ever plug in a flash drive. Somebody, Ryan, posted, it's like the ham radio antenna Rubber Ducky. It sends data. Yeah, it can. That's what's really crazy about the USB Rubber Ducky is you can actually extract data out of that. You could pull somebody's hash files of their computer. So then I could crack your logins, your passwords for your computer. There's this whole bunch of wrong things that you can do with it, especially like I love when I go to like the Starbucks coffee shops, again, going back to there. That's one of those places that so many people, they'll like leave their laptop and they'll go up to the person next to them and be like, hey, do you mind? Could you just keep an eye on my computer for me for a second? I love it when they ask me because I'm like, I have a Rubber Ducky, but I'm not going to do anything like that because that's illegal. But, you know, they leave it unlocked. Always lock your computer whenever you leave it. And ideally, don't leave your computer. But awesome questions, guys. I love it. Does a VPN make hacking impossible or does it just harden it? Yeah, nothing's impossible, right? Like you can always hack something. So yeah, it just makes it a lot harder. It makes it extremely a lot harder. So yeah, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but the thing is I would say a good majority of people don't use a VPN. So if somebody's hacking, they're just going to see a VPN. They're going to move on to the next person. We're going to get the low hanging fruit. Should we ever use one then? Yeah, you can use a thumb drive. But like here in my lab, I actually don't let students, use thumb drives. That's just one of my rules that I don't allow, just to protect the data coming in. Because there could also be malicious software that's loaded on there. Viruses are actually known to travel through through that. So, hey, G, how are we doing on time, buddy?
We're doing pretty good. We have till, I'd say about 12:20-ish. I'd like to maybe start wrapping things up.
Cool. Yeah, we're great.
If we want to continue doing Q&A, that's just fine.
Yeah, that's where we're at, actually. We're right there at that point. So somebody asked, VPNs can be breached. Yes, they can. Going back to what I was saying before is you got to trust that exit point somewhere. So ultimately, you have to trust your exit point of your VPN. So yeah, they can definitely be breached. Awesome. Anybody else? Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this. I'm really curious by a raise of hands in Teams. How many of you liked this session? How many of you really liked this? Yeah, I see somebody said keylogger. Yeah, keyloggers. So this is a keylogger. This is a key crock. And this is actually a keylogger. This is also one of the tools that students get to use here. But I have a hard policy on absolutely don't bring these in. If you are caught with one of these, that is a reason that I cannot stand because there's really no reason for these. They're very nefarious. They're just no good. You're intentionally trying to get somebody's credentials. So yes, they do exist. You need to be made aware of them. You need to know about them. But yeah, they do. There is keyloggers. So let's see what we got. We got some more questions. This has been by far the best class of the day. Hey, sweet. Thanks, Anonymous. I don't know who you are, but thank you. That's a very good compliment. Hey, if you liked this session, definitely smash the like button, subscribe, all the good things, right? If I had a YouTube, Facebook channel, whatever. But definitely follow us on Facebook. I'm the cybersecurity instructor here at DACC. You can find me on there. I'm actually live right now with the behind the scenes. I see one of my buddies on there. So, hey, Corbin, hey, how's it going? Shout out to you. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on my EliCochran.me, which is my portfolio site. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to hit me up. Find me. I'll try to answer as best I can. Why didn't tech come and find me on the VPN? They probably had some higher priority happening that day. They could have had network issues or something else. So yeah, it's possible that happens. It gets slipped in. But the thing to keep in mind is it is logged. Everything's logged. So, just be mindful of that. I would not ever use that. Hey, I won the lottery. Yeah. Well, I hate to tell you there, Deputy Elverson, but he contacted me first, and I sent him my info this morning, and he actually wired me over the money in Bitcoin. So sorry, I beat you to it. You seem very passionate about this. Yeah, I am, right? Again, going back to what I said, I'm a geek. So this is what I geek out with. This is where I have fun with it. Yeah, I have lots of fun with the ham radio station. I love my ham radio stuff. I actually give extra credit to my students if they get their ham radio license. So if you have your ham radio license, Ryan, come find me. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to find another ham. And then thoughts USB could be plugged in and just lead to you to work stuff and your stuff. Yeah, it can. You could have it pull up like I had one I wrote that would actually, you'd plug it in, it'd open up Chrome, and it would pull up my EliCochran.me portfolio site. So yeah, you can do some cool stuff with it, but yeah, let's see, man. We got a lot of questions here, G. I love it. You just tell me when we got to stop.
You just keep being you.
Cool. Can I come to you when I come back to school and consult with you about some security stuff? Yeah, so I don't mind. Obviously, you'd have to talk to your instructor, your other, and then we'd have to make sure that I don't have anything going on. But yeah, absolutely. I'm always open to chatting. The best thing to do is to get me an email, right? Right here is my email here at the school, and include your instructor or whoever you're in their class with, and we can see if we can figure out a time to do so. So if you can buy a USB drive anywhere, how did you? Yeah, I mean, if you buy it brand new, you're normally pretty good. You don't have to worry about it. Micro Center, I mean, a little plug on them. Again, they're not sponsored. # not sponsored. But Micro Center is a really good place. They have really cheap thumb drives that you can buy down there, and they're legit. They're fine. I actually got one in the mail. I was laughing about it at my school. Bowling Green sent it to me, and it's in the exact same enclosure as a Rubber Ducky, and I was like, yeah, I'm not using this. Someone wrote a Rubber Ducky to change the computer background, and yeah, you could do that. That's an easy one. That's a fun one. There's a bunch of scripts out there. Let's see what we got. Nice. Thank you for that. So, yeah, I think, come on, give me another question. We got 1 minute left. But yeah,
Mr. Cochran, what do you think about cryptocurrencies and that kind of thing?
Yeah, Dogecoin to the moon, right? Raise the hands for Dogecoin to the moon. I'm really curious to see how many hands I get raised. There we go. There it is. Okay. Yeah, I love it. I honestly, I have to admit, I don't have a Bitcoin wallet. I need to get one. I need to set one up. I need to get some Bitcoins. That's on my to-do list for sure. So
I told you I'm going to give you your first $25 if you get a wallet.
Hey, there we go.
Send it to
how can I set up a VPN? That is a video for a whole nother topic. So, but you can check out like Raspberry Pis. Look at your router. Some routers have it built in. Hit me up on LinkedIn or wherever. Find me, and I can help you, point you in the right direction for some tutorials. I just used Have I Been Pwned, and it says my email's been breached. How do I change my password? Yeah, definitely get into that account. I'll admit some of my accounts have even been breached, so you're not alone, so don't feel bad. But yeah, definitely get into that account, deactivate it, change the password at a minimum. So awesome. Well, I think we're hit our time frame.
Yep.
I think we're good, buddy. I'm going to kick it back over to you. Hey, thank you all for your time. I seriously appreciate it. I love seeing how many people did we have in here? Do you know what the top was?
I think at the top we had around 50-ish, 55 maybe.
I love it.
Yeah.
So again, thank you all. Again, like and subscribe. Find me online. Love you guys. See y'all.
Hey, so let's, Mr. Cochran, thank you so much for your time today. You are a true professional, and we are very thankful that we were able to learn from you today. I feel like I know now not to give my bank account number to the person from Sri Lanka that I already gave it to, but I was expecting for that $1 million to be in my account today, but it never entered. But thank you so much again for your time today.
My pleasure.
Awesome. You guys know where to find Mr. Cochran online and to track him down for more for other things. So we are very thankful for you, and hope you have a wonderful day, sir. And this presentation was recorded today, so if you guys want to watch it again, it will be on the DACC website at some point.
Yeah, and real quick plug, I've been live on Facebook, so that'll be up there too. If you want to show your parents, you'll get the audio feed only. But hopefully we can maybe get this uploaded even on there, and then there'll be the video out there too. So yeah, thank you all.
Thanks, Mr. Cochran.
See y'all.
Have a good day.